Well, Ward, I respectfully disagree with you a little bit about your comments just a moment ago. I really do think we have to keep a focus on K through 12. There's been a recent study that has come out this summer that talked about the fact that there are only 2 states lower than Tennessee who are graduating students from higher education institutions after 6 years. I thought that we had to be on a 4-year program. Obviously, I missed that part of it. And they're Louisiana and Arkansas. And the conclusion of that study was that our kids who are coming out of high school are not prepared for college level exams. So I really do think we have to look much harder at what we're doing in K through 12 and make sure that we are preparing our students now to be able to go to college. I think we've got to keep a focus on our community colleges and on our technological centers, because I believe that those are ways that we can use to educate our children, young adults, in a much more efficient manner. The other thing I think we've got to focus on also is business retention in this state. You know, we need to be rewarding businesses who are investing in themselves and through their technology to create more efficiencies and productivity. When you see those kinds of efficiencies and productivity, you're going to see higher paying jobs in our state. So we need to incentivize and reward those kind of businesses. I think we ought to continue on with Governor Brenison's what I call global initiative. He has been out working very hard to recruit industry into our state from all over the world. And I think he's been very successful at doing many of those projects. So I think we need to keep a focus in that area to make sure that we're providing the kind of training through our colleges and through our career centers for these industries to want to locate here in Tennessee. And lastly, I would say this. I think Tennessee needs to stay a very pro-business climate. I recently had a chance to talk to some of the home builders in Shelby County. And when they start talking about the red tape that they have to go through on both a state and local level, we've got to look at ways to be able to cut through that to allow them to be much more productive. They are employing all kinds of workers in their home building and industrial building. And the red tape that they have to go through is really kind of mind-numbing sometimes. We've got to look at things like that. I want to make sure that people who are working on those sites are safe and they're compensated with fair and reasonable wages. But at the same time, I want to make sure that the people who are building those structures don't have to deal with unnecessary red tape. So that whole there's no one simple solution to it, but I think you have to maintain a very pro-business environment in Tennessee to keep business here as well as attract business that wants to live here. Thank you.
Well, our thanks to these two gentlemen. I am told that one of the other people we had hoped to have with us has in fact arrived. And while I'm not going to be able to grill her quite the same way, we do want to welcome Kim Miller and give her an opportunity to say a few things for about 5 minutes. She's also had a chance to see these questions and have a chance to tell us a bit about what she would say in response to some of these concerns. Yeah?
Thank you very much. At first, let me truly apologize. I think now I know every back road that surrounds this entire military installation now. So I have been driving around for some time, and thank goodness I had called Jerry, and he had said, "Oh, go ahead and come." And I said, "But Jerry, I feel bad. I'm so late, and I'm supposed to be back at Nashville." And he said, "No, come anyway." And all of you it meant a lot to me, so I said, okay, I'm going to be late, and I do apologize for not being here when you had the opportunity to hear and answer the questions. And I'm sure I won't get, obviously, as much time as the others to respond, but I am happy to answer any questions that you want to ask. I don't know if you want to ask me the same one since I came in late and was here, but first let me say, I understand I have looked at all the questions. I have answers to all of them. I think that they are all great questions. They all, I think, serve the state well. I can tell you that I spent 12 years in the Tennessee General Assembly and another year and a half in Governor Bredeson's cabinet as his senior advisor. So I have been in the legislative branch and have been in the executive branch, and think that I have a pretty good understanding of state government. But I do want to say that my entire tenure in the General Assembly was aimed at really working hard to do things that, in my opinion, helped working men and women across the state of Tennessee. Because I believe that that is the future of Tennessee. I believe that's where we're going, and I believe we need to continue to do things that protect the working men and women, protect the families of Tennessee, protect those that are working. And I was very pleased to see on some of the questions, for example, I know there was one that addressed the issue of working families, and that's something that's obviously very important to me. As I said, I spent my entire career working both as a lawyer and in the legislature. I had 2 children who were 1-year-old and 2-year-old when I first went to the legislature. So I used to say that I was the only legislator that I knew at the time that actually had children that went to a child care center. So I was very interested in making sure that we had the types of entities in state government that helped working families make sure that they could put in a productive, hard day's work and still at the same time be a family member and get the time off when they needed it. I've been very proud and pleased over the course of my legislative career to sponsor a number of pieces of legislation that I believe really moved forward in the area of helping working men and women, helping working families, providing for flex time, providing for things that I think really made the workforce accessible to both men and women, and to promote family values and promote family activities throughout the time that I was in the legislature. I believe that is extremely important. I think that's something we've got to continue to work towards. You know, people ask me, why am I running for governor? Well, I'm running for governor because, number one, I think that I have the right kind of experience in state government to know how to get things done. And, you know, it's going to be tough. The next governor, whoever he or she may be, is going to have a tough time in office really trying to deal with a lot of the budgetary situations that we have. So it's going to take somebody that's ready to roll up their sleeves, tackle the tough issues, address the problems, set your priorities, and move forward. And I can tell you and promise you, because I have a record to prove it, that my priorities have always been legislation, policies, procedures, other things that really promoted families, promoted working families, promoted the interests of people like yourself in this room and across this state, the people that have made the state of Tennessee great. And that's what I want to do as governor. That's why I'm running, and that's why I'm here. And I don't know how much time we have, and I don't know if y'all want to ask me any questions like you've asked the other candidates questions or not. But again, thank you very much.